They've been lying to you about content. Everyone keeps saying, just post more, stay consistent, and clients will come. But if that were true, your calendar would already be packed, right? The reality is you can post every day, even go viral, and still not sign a single client. I know someone who had his TikTok hit 1 million views and got 0 new clients from it. So stick around, because posting for the algorithm is the fastest way to burn yourself out without ever booking a single call. And I can prove it. The truth is, it's not your content that's broken, it's the model. And once you see the missing piece, you'll understand exactly why your views aren't turning into appointments yet. Here's a secret very few know. 99% of lead magnets die before anyone even opens them. Most get ignored, trashed, or worse, make you look like every other marketer. The truth? You probably worked hard on it, but what felt valuable turned into digital junk mail. The rules have changed. Attention is more expensive than gold, and old PDFs and checklists are invisible now. In this video, I'll show you the 3 types of lead magnets that actually work today. The ones that people actually click, binge, and share. By the end, you'll know how to build one that converts strangers into clients.
Welcome, everybody. Oh, it's been a fun morning and can't wait for the weekend. We're here for the last workshop that we're going to be doing for a while. And so this is we're going to try and give you all of the best stuff in 60 minutes that you possibly can get. And then we're going to announce what's kind of happening next. So, and of course, we are last minute. Thank you for joining us, Brian.
Barely.
Barely. So we're going to switch some things around. We're going to make this work, but we're going to add as much value as we possibly can. So if you missed this week's Digital Advisor Weekly, then I encourage you to go back and do that, but not right now. Unless you're watching this in replay, you could pause this, go back and watch the other one, and then come back and watch this, and you'll get more out of it. Otherwise, grab a pen and paper and let's get started, because we're going to dig into lead magnets, what works, what doesn't work. And this is something that's plagued our industry for a very long time. So this is going to be valuable for everybody, and I can't wait to get into the nuts and bolts of it. So let's see here. Yes. So just a quick recap. We talked about 3 lead magnets that work, and we're going to go into those more deeply, but more importantly with a tutorial, so that you know how to either build them for yourself or build them for a VA, or give the instructions to your VA to have them build it for you. Either way. All right. So just make sure it's not a dusty old PDF that everyone ignores. You got to do the kind of magnet that grabs people, it hooks them, and drag them into your world, because they can't help themselves. But by the time you're done, you'll know exactly how to build one of these lead magnets, and it doesn't just grow your list of leads in your database that make you feel good. It's actual appointments on your calendar, actual appointments that you can convert to sales. So buckle up, and this is going to be fun.
It's not that a lead magnet is good or bad, it's which one is right for your core offer, your business. So let me give you an example. If I sold IT services and I gave away free t-shirts that branded their company's name on it, people would want that. But people would not necessarily want IT services. It doesn't naturally lead to the next my core offer. If I gave away the logo, that might be a great lead magnet for an apparel white labeler, because they might want more apparel. You want to make sure that the thing you're giving away leads naturally to the problem that you can solve next.
So here is the ugly truth. 99% of lead magnets in our industry are about as exciting to watch as, I don't know, painting a wall white and waiting for it to dry to put the second coat. Yeah, super fun. And if your lead magnet isn't converting, it's probably guilty of at least one of these 3 most common examples. 1, way too generic. If I can type something into ChatGPT and I can get the same amount of information or better, then yeah, it's way too generic. kind of like 10 tips to saving money. Yeah, that's not going to help. So number two, they feel like homework. So if you give them a workbook that's like 42 pages, that's like trying to fill out a application for a loan application or a life insurance application. It's daunting and it's stressful. All right. If it feels like homework, don't do it. Right? Make it short, to the point, and effective to move them one step closer to having you help them solve the problem. And make sure you're the lead magnet number 3. Make sure that you're not forgettable. If in 2 days nobody can even remember the name of the lead magnet or you, then it's probably forgettable. So, and quite honestly, when's the last time that you've given out a lead magnet and they've taken that lead magnet and they've been so excited about that lead magnet, they go to their spouse and say, "Oh my gosh, you have to see this." Usually not the case. But you will hear people actually refer somebody to a great piece of content they watch, like a new series, episode, TV show. So if it is remarkable, meaning they want to tell other people about it, then it's unforgettable and you're headed the right track. So let's bring in Brian Wayne from MindSpark Media and get his feedback on lead magnets, because this is something that he's done with Facebook advertising for a very long time. Welcome, Brian. Thanks for joining us last minute. Hey. I know I always call on you, and I appreciate you stepping up to the plate and jumping in. Super helpful to get an outside perspective so that viewers know I come from a marketing and financial industry background, and Brian comes from purely marketing, has better strengths in technology and PPC advertising, but he has done it across multiple industries. And so he's seen everything under the sun when it comes to lead magnets and how to convert paid ads with the lowest client acquisition cost possible. And so he's tested a lot more than I have in our narrow industry. So I appreciate you, Brian, joining us to give us a different perspective.
Yeah, lead magnets is such a boring term too. It really is value. It's something that's going to give people the answer that is burning in their mind constantly. So you need to know your audience and speak directly to that audience. And maybe there's different segments of your audience. So one lead magnet might be appropriate for one audience versus another, or it has to give them that answer that they want, or give them such an epiphany that's what you were talking about, what makes it shareable. If they have a new idea or a new perspective, if you're trying to shift perspectives with all of your content and all of your lead magnets, and the lead magnet should be something super valuable that they can actually use.
Yeah, so we're going to keep things moving here because I want to get to the tutorial part. Brian, would you mind answering this question? At least somebody told me we have a question. Go ahead. Let's see if we can get it to stick. There we go.
I like them, but I'm worried. Everyone's calls booked over the past few months. What should I adjust to do differently? I've had very few calls. Your lead magnet isn't answering that question, or it's talking to the wrong audience, or it's something completely useless or worthless that people don't want, to be honest.
Well, and also a lead magnet, remember guys, is just meant to get somebody's contact information. A lead magnet is not meant to put somebody on your calendar. It's the call to action at the end of the lead magnet. The lead magnet is to get them to one step closer to you, so you have an opportunity to give them value and then earn the right to ask them to jump on your calendar.
Yeah, it's a lead.
Yeah, and if you have not provided enough value in the lead magnet, you've not earned the right to ask them to jump on your calendar, which is probably why you're struggling to get people on your calendar. Well, let's jump to a relevant video about lead magnets.
For anyone that has never heard of a lead magnet and what that is, the point of them is to use them as a hook to attract new customers. So for example, you could create a free downloadable booklet and make it available for users on your Shopify site. Let's pretend I have a nutrition business. We're going to use ChatGPT to help us write a booklet with meals for an entire week, all under 800 calories. I could see this being really useful for anyone that's trying to stay healthy, and I might even put some recipes in there that could include some of my products. That's just one example, but you could do content just like this, from fitness to food to fashion and gardening and so much more.
All right. And in this week's Digital Advisor Weekly on Wednesday, we talked about AI tools and calculators and why they work so much better than your traditional boring PDFs. And we really do believe this is going to be the future of lead magnets, which is why we're taking the time to do all this, why we're ending the public masterclass and moving to a private membership. We'll go more into that later, but you're going to want to have an opportunity to see what can be provided in that private membership. And for those who are existing clients, there's no charge at all. And it's going to be extremely low cost. I mean, we're talking about less than a cup of coffee for those who do want to join, because it's really going to be a collaborative. So we'll go more into that later, but it is now time to show you exactly how to build one of these lead magnets. And instead of telling you, I've got a special guest to walk you through it, joining us from Go High Level's own Content Army member, Andrew George, and he's going to break it down step by step. How to create a business valuation calculator. That's the best one that we could come up with, remotely familiar to our industry, but how to build it inside of Go High Level, which happens to be the automation software we use to help implement these tools, because you have to have a place to put the tool for people to go to get it, put in their information and use whatever tool or download whatever lead magnet it is. So he's going to give you an example of business evaluation calculator tool. Why? Because once you know how much your business is worth, you're going to want to speak to somebody about how to either make it more valuable or how to go ahead and find somebody to purchase your business for that value. So it's, again, the lead magnet is an awareness of the problem to establish the problem and allude to the solution. And guess who the solution is, Brian?
The advisor.
The advisor. That's exactly right. So please don't build a lead magnet that solves their problem for them and gives them all the information they're looking for. I'm not saying hold back information. I'm saying give them information about the problem. Like, let them know where they're at.
Tell them the what, not the how.
Yeah, and tell them, here's where you're at and here's where you could be. Would you like to be? Click on this link, and then you've earned the right, because you help them establish kind of a report card of where they're at. My wife does this all the time. She's a reading and writing expert and helps special cases of young adults who are struggling with reading comprehension. What does she do? She gives a free assessment or evaluation tool and will tell the parent what grade level are they reading at. Yeah, they might be 18 years old, but they're reading at the 4th grade level. And then why is she giving away the free assessment? Because the next step is, would you like me to help him get up to 12th grade reading? Yeah, that would be great. Book an appointment. So it's leading, helping them assess where they're at, telling them there's hope for better, and then offering to help guide them there. All right, so grab a notepad, because this is where the rubber meets the road. Andrew, take it away.
Thanks, Real Rob Souza. Hi everyone, I am one of Rob Souza's hyper-realistic clones, and today's tutorial is going to be presented by Go High Level's own Content Army member, Andrew George. Andrew is going to walk you through, step by step, exactly how to create one of these calculators using Go High Level. Now, his example is around business valuation. So think of it like this. You plug in your numbers, and in seconds, you know what your business is worth. Powerful, right? But here's the best part. You can tailor this exact same process to whatever you want your AI tool to be. If you're a financial advisor, build a debt freedom calculator. If you're a fitness coach, create a calorie deficit tracker. If you're a realtor, launch a rent versus buy calculator. The structure stays the same. You just swap out the inputs and the results. So pay attention to the mechanics Andrew shows you, the layout, the workflow, the way the math gets tied to the CTA, because once you understand this, you can build calculators that don't just sit on your website, they work for you, converting strangers into booked appointments. All right, let's hand it off to Andrew and the Go High Level Content Army to show you exactly how it's done.
What's up, high levelers? It's Andrew, and I've got a really exciting feature to bring to you, which is the math calculations within forms and surveys. It's our ability to add scores to our forms and surveys for our customers in real time. It's super cool, so let me show you exactly how it works. Again, this is in forms and surveys. I'm currently in a survey, and if we see on the left-hand side under our elements, all the way at the bottom under customize, we will see score. Now, how exactly do these scores work? Well, scores essentially will put together math calculations based on other fields within the form and survey. Now, obviously, these fields need to be either numerical or monetary, so you can use these two elements in order to make calculations. And whenever you're making the calculations, it will just be in the score element itself under the calculations tab. For example, if we want to add this number and this monetary field together, whenever we are in this score, we can click add field, select the number field, then click plus, then we can click the monetary field, and then that will give us our calculation for that number plus that number. We can obviously also do slightly more complicated math calculations. So if we didn't want to do that number plus that number, we could do the number field divided by that monetary field. And then we can also add in our own numbers ourselves. So not only can we use the fields already in the form and survey, we can also add in our own numbers using the calculator itself. Now, we're not going to have crazy complicated math calculations available, but we do have parentheses, plus, minus, subtract, divide, and decimal place for making non-whole numbers. Now, for example, I'm actually using this within this form/survey as a business idea valuation tool, which is really cool. And I'm going to be using it with my own audience. For example, using this survey, we can put together a basic business idea valuation based on a couple of different fields like the initial investment amount, the weekly time commitment, and product pricing for anyone filling out this form. So if somebody has an idea for a business, they can put in all of these different fields and they get an idea of what their business will probably be worth. Obviously, you can't get a completely accurate valuation for a business based on these fields alone, but it's a pretty fun way to use this scoring feature to real-time allow users to adjust their expectations when creating a business. So for example, we could say that their business is going to be worth the initial investment amount multiplied by their weekly time commitments, multiplied by their product pricing, by using this little user interface for selecting our fields. And if we hit save and preview, you'll see that it will work in real time. And it's a really cool way to allow your users to have some fun with your forms and surveys. So let's say we're going to invest $100 into our business. We're going to commit 20 hours a week, and then we are going to add in a product that's worth $1,000. You can see our business idea is magically worth $200,000. Is this accurate? Absolutely not. But is it fun? Absolutely. This is just one of the ways that you can use the calculations and scoring feature within forms and surveys to engage your users and create some really cool tools on the high level platform. The only other thing to note is that these score fields are actually available to reference in other places like SMS, emails, workflows. As you can see, we have an SMS open in this workflow, and we can add our contact custom field, and then we will see what our business is worth. If we look up business, we can see right here, your business idea will probably be worth. That is our score custom field. So we can even use this form with a couple of other things like automations, DMs, SMS, emails, in order to communicate this score with our users. Again, this is available within forms and surveys, so feel free to try this out for yourself. If you have any questions about how this feature works, then leave a comment. And as always, thank you so much for watching.
And if you haven't figured out, yes, we use Go High Level as our automation platform. If you're overwhelmed by the platform and want somebody to help you with it, that's fine. We have a team of virtual assistants who can help optimize setup of pretty much anything you want. But what's nice about the software is instead of having 7 different softwares, it's an all-in-one tool where pretty much anything you need to execute the process of what we're talking about, lead magnets, lead capture, opportunity tracking, all of that can be done in the Go High Level platform. Our version of it with all our build outs inside of it is called Better Automate. But if you'd like a 60-day version for $9.99, then you got to put $9.99 in the chat. And for those of you who are watching this and just want to give Go High Level a try, or hire somebody to work with inside your Go High Level and build for you so you can use it to deploy any sort of lead magnet in the future, this would be a great opportunity for you to do that. Again, 60 days, $9.99. We'd be happy to get you guys in and building, because that's the point of today's workshop. But let's jump to entertainment, because why such a jump? Well, because if it's not entertaining, then it doesn't matter how effective or efficient the calculator or tool really is. But we want it to be addictive, kind of like streaming, like marathoning your favorite show. It's like crack to the audience. You want them addicted. Okay, that's a bad analogy. Let's say no to crack. They scratch, but what you really wanted to do is be unforgettable so that they always want to keep going back. So you know what I mean, even with a bad analogy. But let's be honest, most people, they don't want to do a math assignment, right? So just kind of pros and cons. And it's kind of like, just think about it. If you're laying in bed at night, are you thinking about, oh yeah, I got that calculator tool earlier today and I can't wait to use it, and then they're going to jump on their phone or laptop and go ahead and use it? Probably not. But if they saw the beginning first episode of a 5-part series that's super entertaining and engaging, well, then yeah, they may pull their phone out and watch another episode or two. Now, for those of you who missed this week's Digital Advisor Weekly, where we explained what edutainment is, and then you'll have to go back and watch the replay. Just don't do it now. All right. So what's edutainment? As a recap, simple. It's education wrapped in entertainment. Think of it as Netflix, not night school or driver's ed if you get a ticket. I haven't had one of those in a while. Nobody is bragging to their friends like, dude, check out this PDF that I got, or going home to your wife, you know. If they are, great, you built a fantastic lead magnet. I'd love to see it. But what we really are looking at seeing is the amazing results that miniseries and docuseries and documentaries are getting, and they seem to be pushing the envelope of grabbing a lot more attention, sustaining the attention longer, but seems to have the complaint or missing piece of, okay, how do I convert it from the docuseries or Masterclass or whatever the mini series? How do I convert that viewer into an appointment? And that's where we're going to combine a piece of content, edutainment, to a valuable assessment tool, to then an appointment. And when you combine all three, you'll find that when you get people to take action after what they watch, that your chances of getting them on your calculator, if you can convince them that you can solve the problem, is going to double. All right. Now, in the past few weeks, we've been talking about, or even showed you how to build these types of lead magnets. And so we're just going to kind of overview them here. And let's talk about 3 different formats. And we kind of touched on them in docuseries. And that's like 2 to 3 short episodes. We're talking about 3 to 5 minutes max. And each episode will end up with an invitation to use a calculator, a simple calculator. And you're going to use the calculators after each episode. Why? You're trying to draw them in to engage, not just observe, but to engage. And if you get them using those tools after each episode, you'll find that they will end up on your calendar by the last episode. The number 2 is mini series, mini YouTube playlist. Break down one big topic into bite-sized pieces. Example, like Tax Advisor does 3 stories of retirees who beat the IRS at their own game. Or people love real stories like the little guy winning, you know, like David and Goliath, or Rocky and the story of Rocky Balboa. And the third is story-driven podcasts or lives or broadcasts. We've done them all. It's just that we want to make sure that people have an action item that doesn't require going straight to the calendar, an observer to an engager to actually getting onto the calendar. That's going to be the recipe. And all right, we're going to jump into the tutorial because that's where we really, the meat and potatoes is, and everybody's waiting. So let's jump into it. So let's cut to actually create this type of lead magnet. So quick tutorial. And in this tutorial, we're going to be showing you how to create my favorite kind of entertainment, and that's the docuseries.
All right. If your video was a sandwich, the script is the meat. Without it, all you've got is soggy bread and disappointment. So let's build a script that's so good, even an AI will sound like it's auditioning for Netflix. Step 1, head over to ChatGPT. This is your AI writing buddy that doesn't complain, doesn't ask for coffee, and works at lightning speed. Here's the magic prompt you're going to paste in. Just change the topic to whatever your video's about. Ready? Here we go. Now let's break that down. Hook grabs attention like the trailer for a Marvel movie. Juicy fact keeps people listening. Call to action tells them exactly what to do next. And SSML? That's basically spice for your AI voice. Pauses, pitch changes, drama. It's the difference between a flat audiobook and Morgan Freeman narrating your life. Once ChatGPT gives you the regular script, you're going to say, boom. Now your AI actor knows exactly when to pause, when to lean in, and when to drop the mic. Thanks to SSML, which stands for Speech Synthesis Markup Language. Now just copy that SSML code, drop it right into Hey Jen's text box, and you're done. Imagine this. You're sitting at the bank, and instead of just depositing your money, no hours in Premiere, no caffeine-fueled editing binges, just click, render, and watch the magic happen. All right, we've got our avatar images ready. Now let's bring them to life inside Hey Jen. Hop into Hey Jen, go to Create Avatar, and upload your 3 images. Front, 45-degree left, 45-degree right, or your 2-minute digital twin video. This gives Hey Jen everything it needs to make your avatar move naturally. Hit Train Avatar. The AI works behind the scenes to map your face, your angles, and your expressions, so it moves like a real human, not a stiff robot. Open a new project, drop your trained avatar into the scene, and paste your SSML enhanced script right into the text box. This tells the AI exactly how to speak. Pauses, emphasis, drama, all baked in.
Still marching into battle with your own cash? Rookie move.
Click Generate. In seconds, you'll see your avatar delivering your script like a pro. If something feels off, tweak the script or pacing and regenerate. This is the Frankenstein moment, except instead of screaming, "It's alive," you'll be saying, "Wow, I look good." Okay, we've got our script. Now we need a face to deliver it. And that face is yours. We're about to build your digital twin, an AI version of you that works 24/7, never blinks too much, and never asks for lunch breaks. There are 3 ways to do this, depending on how realistic you want to go and how much time you've got. If you want a true clone of yourself, here's the move. Record a quick 2-minute video of you talking naturally. Introduce yourself, say a few sentences, smile, look natural. Then, submit that video to Hey Jen's digital twin training. In a few minutes, you'll have a photorealistic version of yourself that moves, blinks, and talks exactly like you. It's basically cloning, but without the weird sci-fi ethics debate. Maybe you want a fun, animated version of yourself? Cartoon style? Stylized? Or just something different? Open ChatGPT and say, create 3 consistent image descriptions for an animated avatar version of the same person in 1, front-facing view, 2, 45-degree left, 3, 45-degree right. Style, it can be Pixar, anime, comic book, etc. Bright colors, plain background, consistent outfit, and facial features. Or maybe you want something that looks like you, but fits a totally different theme. Maybe a medieval knight, a cyberpunk hacker, or a space explorer. Tell ChatGPT, create 3 consistent image descriptions of the same person in 1, front-facing view, 2, 45 degrees left, 3, 45 degrees right. Make the person resemble what specific hair color, eye color, clothing style, and age range. Type in "but in a," and then you can describe theme, e.g. futuristic armor, medieval royal outfit. Spacesuit with ultra-realistic detail, cinematic lighting, and plain background. Once you've got your images, whether they're hyper-real, animated, or themed, upload them into HeyGen. Let it train your avatar, and in minutes, you've got your personal AI actor. Now that our avatar's alive, let's make it a star with multiple looks in one video. This is how you keep your audience hooked and your content feeling cinematic. Open HeyGen's video editor and drop in scene 1. Pick avatar look number 1, maybe your main style, and paste the first part of your SSML script here. Click Add Scene. Switch to avatar look number 2. This could be your animated version or a themed style, and paste the second chunk of your script. Keep it short so the pace stays snappy. Add a third scene. Choose avatar look number 3. Maybe your hyper-real clone or something totally wild, and paste your closing lines or call to action. Add quick transitions between scenes so it feels seamless. Think fast cuts like TikTok, not slow fades like Grandma's slideshow.
Grandma's slideshow. Well, let's look at a couple examples really quickly so we can put this into reality. Well, what topics would I choose? Well, I'm going to kind of stick with the tax theme today, but think of a tax advisor runs a 3-part YouTube mini doc called The IRS Never Saw This Coming. Each episode's a true story of how different clients legally avoided taxes. You think people wouldn't watch? I don't know. I don't think texts are very popular. Brian, can you give us a few additional examples, maybe from outside our industry? See if we can get Brian on here. There we go. Gotcha. Oh, microphone.
Oops. Oh, there we are. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
This works in any industry. If you have, it could be fitness, it could be realtors. There's multiple different ways.
But give us a specific theme for let's say fitness coach.
You could have, day 1, you could be training, for your next race. On day 30, you hit the finish line. Audiences feel like they're, you want them to feel like they're part of the story. You want the beginning, the middle, and the end. People like to see the transition. They want to see from the pain that they have, the struggles that they're currently struggling with, and then an outcome. And I
hear a rumor that you may have a few things about the real estate industry, which of course
I've done a lot of real estate. I've done fix and flips. I've done a lot of marketing for real estate, and it's the same theme. It's
perfect. Give us an example of a series that a real estate advisor could use.
Like a behind the scenes, behind the sale. What does it take to put a deal together or find a deal? You could have 3 episodes, how the family got out of renting a home, and then how do they buy their first home, and what are the steps involved? And as a realtor or as financial advisors, this stuff is common. We know this stuff. But for the first timer, they have no clue where to begin. They're getting all this information from YouTube and Instagram and all these social medias. You've got to boil it down into something that, I keep saying, that burning question that's in their head that keeps them up late at night. How am I going to How am I going to buy my first house? How am I going to save taxes in retirement? Oh my God, what all the stress. And if you can come in with an answer and you have that 3-part mini series or 5-part or whatever that tells that story of beginning to end, either through a fictional character or real life testimonials work great too. And just tell that story.
Yeah. And the reality is edutainment works. We know it. Look at all the streaming services.
Look at HGTV. Look at all the fix-up shows that everyone wants to watch. You know, the beginning, the finding the ugly house, fixing it up, all the trials and tribulations involved in fixing it, and then the big reveal at the end.
Yeah, it's the journey, especially all the DIY shows that are out there. And now every guy out there today who's never picked up a tool thinks he's an expert.
Yeah. And they all think it only costs $5,000 and it happens in a weekend.
Right. And what's the show I just saw the other day? It's like Help, I Ruined My House, because they tried to do their own remodel.
Oh yeah, those are great.
So at any rate, you know, the whole idea is hijacking somebody's attention, and that's already pre-wired to be interested. And so if you match the target, if you know your target audience and can figure out what they're wired to be interested in, then you can create content around what is already a motivation of theirs. They want to binge. They want to escape. They want to feel like they're a part of the story, like you described, of turning, you know, an old, boring, outdated house into a fresh and exciting wow moment of, I didn't know our house could look this good. And let's face it, nobody ever said, dude, I stayed up all night reading this tax checklist, but they will stay up all night binging a docuseries or an HD series.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you answer this question as well, Brian. I know we're running a little bit behind here, but let's quickly throw up that question. I'll read it. But isn't edutainment just dumbing it down? If I make taxes or retirement entertaining, won't that hurt my credibility?
And I don't think so, because you're talking directly to the person that has that burning desire in their mind. And we all naturally, humans are storytellers. So if you can tell a compelling story that answers the question and pushes them towards the thing that they're desiring or helps them get away from the thing that they dread, then it's a success.
Yes, and if they repeat your story, they will remember you.
Well, they'll remember it, and then they'll repeat it, right?
Hopefully that answers your question, Michael. We're going to cut to the next video.
We generate around 350 organic leads every single day, which means that we're not spending any money on ads for these leads. It's typically going to be from Instagram, and I just make one pretty boring but very valuable reel every single day. And then once I post it, I'll add like a little call to action at the bottom of it. If just 1 or 2 of those reels goes viral a week, which is kind of what I'm experiencing right now, I might end up with literally thousands of comments where people are asking for that lead magnet, and then I'll go in there and start setting people to speak with our sales team. And the best part is that these people know, like, and trust me way more than like a stranger from ads. So we have way higher show up rates, close rates, and pay in full rates from these people.
All right, and because we're running out of time, I am actually going to skip the books and workbooks, but just understand we all know books and workbooks. Yes, they create authority. You're an author, best-selling author, and it just gives you authority. But let's face it, most people use them as doorstops. I don't think I've read maybe 1% of the books that I've gotten from a lead magnet. So although we'll jump into the next tutorial just so that you know, and then we can get to the part we want, which is going to be the docuseries. So let's book tutorial Q, go.
All right, let's talk about the third type of lead magnet, books and workbooks. Books give you authority, workbooks drive action, and both position you as the trusted guide while nudging your audience toward booking a call. And here's the good news. You don't need 6 months and a ghostwriter. With ChatGPT, you can spin one of these up in under an hour, then polish it with a little human touch. Here's how. Prompt number 1. Write a 7-day workbook for your audience to help them solve their problem. Each day should have one exercise, one explanation, and a checkbox action. Example, the 7-day net spendable income workbook for pre-retirees who are worried about taxes. Prompt number 2. Got a blog or a framework? Just say, expand this into a 6 to 8K word short book with 5 chapters, examples, and a call to action to book a consultation. Example, the Retirement Tax Survival Guide. Prompt number 3, keep it compliance safe. Ask ChatGPT. Rewrite this in educational language using may or could and add a disclosure footer. Prompt number 4, design it fast. Ask for Canva layout ideas and a 2-sentence landing page headline to promote it. Prompt number 5, don't forget the funnel. Have ChatGPT draft a 3-email sequence, deliver the workbook, check in on progress, and invite them to book a call. That's it. No writing retreats, no endless editing. Just prompts, a little tweaking, and you're live. Bottom line, books make you the authority. Workbooks get people taking action. And both end with the same line your prospect should be saying. Hey, can we talk about my numbers? There you go. And if you'd like a hand putting one of these together for your business, well, that's exactly what we do. So when you're ready, we'll help you build one that not only looks good, but actually converts.
And my wife happens to be a ghostwriter for the financial industry. And so if you just need a final edit to make sure that it is undetectable, that the project started in AI, then you're going to want a ghostwriter or editor to kind of do a quick rewrite for you and just make sure that all of the chapters connect and build a story arc into a motivational call to action. So that being said, just some of the ideas for a retirement income coach, you could do like the 7-day net spendable income sprint. For a tax advisor, you could do Stop the Leak, a 14-day tax mitigation workbook for pre-retirees. I could go on and on. I'll put them in the notes, all these different ideas, or either that or the chat. So Marie, if you want to start putting each of these ideas in the chat just to get people's minds going. And then if any advisors want to add a idea to the chat for a book, that would be great too. You can throw that in the chat.
Lead magnets they've used in the past. Drop it in the chat.
Absolutely.
What's work?
So, and that's where we're headed. So how do you choose a lead magnet that works for you? We talked about it earlier. If it's not converting, it's not working. So don't choose that one. Choose something else. And don't worry, don't get hung up too much on which type of lead magnet, because if it doesn't work, just try something else. If that doesn't work, just try something else. But if you wait too long to get started, you'll never know if it works or not. Get started. But if it doesn't work, jump ship quickly. All right. So again, we've talked about it. My personal preference is a piece of really good content. I don't care if it's a docuseries, a broadcast podcast, a really good piece of content that gets people the opportunity to get to know you and the way you think. The reason we do docuseries is because we're trying to educate and also build a case for what the host believes. If the host believes we're all paying too much in taxes, let them make the case for it in a docuseries. But the docuseries provides the proof. They go back, they show the clips, they show history, they build their case on why they think it's a problem and that they're confident that they can help you solve it. Now, that's just taking content in. Again, I would say if you can do a good piece of content to an actual calculator or workbook, calculator's better. And then from there, CTA would be to your calendar. So my two favorites are going to be calculator or some sort of edutainment to calculator would be my first choice, but it doesn't mean that people doing a broadcast to a workbook isn't also working. Brian's used that all the time, and it works. If you build it right and put it in front of the right target audience,
And if
it
it's
will work.
valuable enough.
Yes, and put enough value.
And it has to be an actual piece of helpful content.
And then here's the other thing is that different people have different personalities and they like different things. Obviously, Brian used to own a restaurant, barbecue restaurant. I love barbecue. But Brian and I may disagree on the best thing on the menu. I may like barbecue ribs all day long, and he may be if we're at barbecue, it's got to be steak.
Brisket.
There you go. So the reality is, I encourage you to try different lead magnets, and you may end up with 2 good ones that work. And half your audience is preferring the one lead magnet, and the other half of the audience is preferring the other lead magnet, because we all have personal preferences. I hate workbooks and calculators.
That's why you need several.
But I love edutainment. And if the edutainment makes me, oh my gosh, I wonder if I have enough saved up, then I'll use the calculator, not because I want a big homework assignment, because I'm just curious if this pertains to me. Like, am I this far behind? Am I going to pay this much in taxes? So the curiosity is like, oh, but I could just put in these 4 pieces of information and hit a button, and then I could find out. That's fantastic. That's interactive education. But we've got to get to how to build the course before we run out of time. So before we did we do the, oh, we did. We already did the building the docuseries. So we finished with the book. That's why we're here. So I'm not as far behind as I thought I was. Should have warned me, Brian.
Well, I was late to the show, so I don't know where we're at.
So let's go through some of the ideas then, now that we have the time. For you could use these ideas for a book, and you could also use these ideas for a docuseries. So I already talked about like the 7-day net spendable income sprint that could be a book or a workbook, right? So this would be in place of your calculator. Or a tax advisor, stop the leak, a 14-day tax mitigation workbook. That's fantastic. We just finished developing a what tax bracket will you be in? How much of your income will go to the IRS the moment you retire? And if people are shocked, how can you reduce that number? And then that's the pivot for schedule a meeting. We'll show you how. Feel free to jump in if you think of any other ideas, Brian. I'm thinking maybe for our registered investment advisors, the sequence. What is it? The sequence of the danger of sequence of returns. Now, I probably have to dumb that down, but it's like when you look at an investment that averages 8% over lifetime, it's not the same. Average is not the same as actual ups and downs. If you calculate average, it's a much different number than if you calculate a sequence of returns. So that may be a good one. 10 steps to ensure you have a bulletproof estate plan and trust. I could think of a ton of them, but notice I'm not just saying estate planning workshop, estate planning workbook.
Myth busting is a good idea. Or what are the false beliefs that the population at large have about retirement and taxes? And
right.
We're doing a docuseries about that right now, is where we've been all fed this idea of the 401k, but there's some problems with it that people just don't understand, and they're going to be caught off guard. That's a great docuseries. Somebody
else just came up with another great idea that I think is genius, and that's like a story of, especially for right now, for our Gen Zers, renting versus buying. And you take 2 families, one young family that's renting and one young family that figured out how to buy, and it's a compare and contrast going back and forth between their 2 stories. And then take the assessment tool below to see which one's right for you. And then renting is better for you. And then there can be maybe that's what qualifies your lead, and you don't want to talk to that person because if you're a real estate agent, you want somebody who's going to buy. I guess there are leasing agents, so you could do it if the leasing agent, but it qualifies your lead and then tells you if that person's likely to take action. And then CTA them, give them a call to action, give them an offer to help them. I'm just pulling ideas here that everybody's throwing out, which are some really great ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we talked about how do you choose. Again, just a reminder, please study your target audience. Go to ChatGPT and you should be asking 100 different questions. Like, how do I find them? What are their likely job titles? What's their likely age? What's their
fears and desires? What concerns them?
What are their biggest fears? What are their biggest ambitions?
And one thing that you can do in ChatGPT, and I use this all the time too, is tell ChatGPT to do a deep search.
Mm-hmm.
And it will scour the internet and it will pull back articles and Twitter posts and all these things where people are actually commenting, and it will know what people are talking about, their fears, their desires, their concerns, the thing that they want or the thing that they don't want. And that's all information that you can use in your docuseries or your lead magnet or your workbook or whatever.
Well, and even from there, we're talking about how to come up with different ideas, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can ask after a deep search, you can ask ChatGPT, okay, now that you have described to me my target audience and how to find them and what their desires and feelings are, okay, which type of lead magnet is the demographic of my target audience most likely to be most interested in? Docuseries, broadcast, podcasts. Somebody a couple of years back said he was broadcasting, and one of his clients finally said to him, you realize you specialize in helping farm owners, ranch owners with a cash flow because crops can come and go. And he said, the client told him, can you do a podcast so I can, because we're out on the farm all day long. We're not sitting we can't watch our phones. We're like physically doing stuff, but we listen to podcasts all day long. So he switched to podcasts and his results doubled. And then by the end of the year, tripled. And so It's really amazing to see that you need to know your audience. That'll help you decide what type of lead magnet. Then it'll also ask ChatGPT, based on their biggest concerns and fears, what would be the best topic that would get them to take action, to connect my unique service with their greatest fears.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. We have about 8 minutes left. I think people get the idea on ideas, and they're passing around some great, I think docuseries sample, the Hidden Wealth, the untold story of alternative investments. Very good. Okay. See, now they're getting the hang of it, Brian.
That's perfect. I love it.
And the untold story, alternative investments. What is alternative? And now he's saying, well, I'm going to tell you the untold story. He's saying, I know you don't know this because it hasn't been told. So click here and find out. Right.
Well, just that terminology, alternative investments, creates curiosity too. It's like, what's an alternative investment? There's something new that I've never heard of. I want to know more. And that's what all of our messaging should be. It's designed to get the audience to say, tell me more.
Yes.
And if you can't get them to do that, then it's just been a waste of time.
Yes. And I believe this is David that gave that comment. What I would do, David, is I'd actually create do you qualify for this alternative? Below, or which alternative would he recommend to the viewer? So you can take an assessment tool. So at the end of an episode, say, go take the assessment tool and see which alternative best fits your situation. And then it gives a recommendation. So that's the tool. That's the calculator, even though it's not on a calculator. And then if they're qualified, they recommend, and they're interested, then you schedule an appointment and it ends up on David's calendar. So that's the process we'd like to see. And we think, we know is working. And we think if we can help you guys put this into action, you're going to get much higher conversions. Okay,
I was going to add something real quick too. That's important for your hook too. And we're going to talk more about hooks in the workshop, but if you can qualify your audience in the hook, that's even better. If you say, if you have a net worth of $500,000 or more, and you're looking for X, Y, and Z, that's a hook, and it also qualifies your audience at the same time.
Absolutely. And a little bit sad, but that's overshadowed by how excited I am about the new private membership group that we are launching called the Sandbox, because we're really wanting to build content, like edutainment content, that connects to a calendar, that connects to a tool, could be a calculator, connects to an assessment tool or calculator that then invites them to an appointment to help find a guide to walk them through the solution. We are attracting VAs from around the world and our most creative advisors who've got some really good ideas. And I would say all 3 advisors that I posted comments on today should seriously consider it because of the ideas that you have. Now, we are on a wait list for our first 8-week series, and we're doing this in 8-week segments because we're going to take the best talent out of the Sandbox, and we're going to put it into a 6-week, 6-episode competition where there is going to be a cash prize for the VA and the advisor who partner together to create the best possible content. There's going to be all kinds of free memberships and free tools and a cash prize. And the VA has a guaranteed employment contract at the end of the competition. Bottom line point, though, anybody in the Sandbox has an opportunity to meet with the best talent on the other side. Meaning, if you're a VA, we're going to introduce you to advisors, sales agents, real estate agents who have great ideas, and they just haven't had the resources to make them come to life. And then obviously in reverse, finding qualified VAs to put this stuff together has been Brian and I's biggest challenge. Mm-hmm. And so we've had to vet a lot of people from around the world to actually find people who are capable of doing what we're talking about. So that's why we're so excited. It's going to be a private group in a Zoom call with everybody collaborating at the same time. And then there'll be side rooms at which we can pull you and your VA into, where you guys can brainstorm for a little bit, bring things back. And it's going to be probably the best collaborative that I've had since I did my beta test 5 years ago. And we're super excited. You can go add your name to the wait list, and that's at wealthvids.com/sandbox. wealthvids.com/sandbox. We'll put that in the chat for you, but definitely put your name on the wait list because we're trying to get the first group's already created. We're trying to build that second group. All right. And by the way, the Sandbox will be meeting on Friday mornings at this time so that we're not changing anything or asking anybody to do anything more. It's just private, more collaborative. Friday mornings.
We're going to have a chance to go a lot deeper on and have a lot more conversations throughout the week too about this content leading up to the Friday show.
Correct. And I'm super excited. There'll also be a private Facebook group which will be exclusive just to the members. And for the next 4 weeks, the membership is free. And then we're going to start charging for the membership in September. So super excited. And you're going to get all the latest softwares, access to all the latest softwares, and AI capability that's coming out. And we're going to empower you guys with everything you need to create the content that you've been thinking about, or lead magnets you've been thinking about. So it's a fantastic opportunity. All right, enough of plugging that. Because I was going to do questions, but we have 1 minute left. So Brian, I'm going to do the close real quick.
Yep.
Thank you guys for joining us, Brian. Thank you for helping us put the sandbox together. I can't wait to get started next week. But that's it for today's coaching session. And hopefully we'll bring this back in the future. And hopefully you've learned something about building binge-worthy edutainment lead magnets and tools that can help you get more out of your lead magnets today. Now it's your turn to stop handing out dusty PDFs and start creating shows your audience actually wants to watch, binge, and share and talk about. I can't wait to see you turn your expertise into something unforgettable in 2025. And in fact, there's going to be income opportunities, because if you create a lead magnet and you're not a virtual advisor and you'd like to lease or sell the rights to your lead magnet by territory to other advisors around the country, we can help create an income opportunity for you, so that you can not only build the lead magnet for yourself in your area, but then you can create revenue by sharing it with others and collecting royalties off of sharing. All right. And don't forget, catch us next week for the Digital Advisor Weekly. That's our half-hour Wednesday show. That's not going anywhere. And it is primarily to help advisors figure out how to identify the solutions to the problems they're feeling about their marketing and why it's not working, and how we can help you turn that around. And don't forget about the wait list. If you want to go over to the sandbox, we put the chat or the link in the chat, and it's this sandbox. It's our exclusive community where you're going to see some amazing talent come out of it. And I cannot wait to showcase the talent in 4 weeks that we'll start showcasing it, that you're going to see. And I think it will really blow your mind. So make sure, whether you join the group or you don't join the group, make sure you're building lead magnets, get people's feedback, make sure you do your homework, know your audience, and we can't wait to see what you create. Until then, stay sharp, stay binge-worthy, and we will see you in the digital world.